Alright everybody, welcome back to Joshie.dat. Welcome all, welcome in. This is the first video of the series in the new year, 2026. Hope you all had a happy new year. Mine could have been better. It's already started off pretty rocky, but it is what it is. We're trucking through it, and that's all we can do, right? You're probably wondering why we're back on Lumberyard. We're supposed to be on level 171, I think. But we're on Lumberyard here just to showcase a little change I made to this level. It's a change that I think benefits the level heavily, and I like it. And it's basically just the starting point that changed, and the room next to it are the only changes I made to this. So originally you started over on the right side where this yellow lock is. That's basically where you started originally. I changed it to where you start in this center structure. And my cursor is not shown on OBS, but I am circling it with my mouse, and it just looks nicer. Like this viewport of the starting point is just beautiful to me. It's symmetric. It's just beautiful. It looks amazing. And I'm surprised I didn't do this when I made the level initially. I think I tried to, but I just couldn't figure out how to. And it wasn't really that hard. I mean, it didn't take that many edits to make it work. But anyway, I'll just quickly showcase what I did. So you start on the yellow key, and you get out through this only path you can. And the only reason that exists like that is so this formation becomes completely closed off right from the get-go. So the other thing that changed was this, the bug itself didn't change, but I changed the way the ordering works with this. I think the ordering. So you still have to get the bug to blow up the bomb behind the red door that we already unlocked there. And you're probably wondering, well, you can just push the block up right here above, like one up from where it currently is, right? And the bug will still follow the path. And you'd be right. It would still follow the path to the right bomb, but you have to move the block to the corner right here where the bug currently is, because you will not have fire boots coming back out from the room below there. So you need to put it in the corner, and then you need the blue and yellow key to use it on the bomb above. So you get the blue key immediately in here, and that's really the only place I could have put it. And there's an argument that I didn't need to put the blue key there. I just did it because it looks nicer. Like if I just left the yellow door right there, it would have looked really awkward, and it would have made the bug part a little confusing, I think. And then at that point, the rest of the level is the same. Nothing else later in the level changed. It is exactly the way it was. So that is the only things I've edited with this level. I think it looks a lot better. It plays mostly the same as it did. It's just tweaked a little bit, and it's just a better level in my opinion. So I'm glad people seem to like this level a lot. I was really skeptical because it's both linear and block heavy, but I like what I did with Special, retaining every single block, even down to the hot ones that were originally on fire. Really fun design constraint, I have to say. And it's unique for that, and I love unique stuff, so hey, we are done with that. Alright, now on to our regular scheduled Joshie content. Starting off with level 171, searching for the Illuminati. Now I have to make a solid confession with this level. I did make a quick little fix to it to be more nicer to play. Because I had several failed recording attempts, just, things outside my control are stopping me from recording, apparently. But I was playing this level, and I had like maybe 80 seconds left and I still wasn't solving it. And I'm thinking, okay, I don't remember ever having this big of a problem with this level. So what was I doing wrong? Well, I wasn't doing anything wrong. It's just the way the level was built was the problem. And I take full responsibility for this, and I'm surprised it took me this long to make this kind of fix. But basically, this level is supposed to be a totally unfair concept. Shaped around these triangular rooms that's supposed to represent like the Illuminati or whatever, because that was the thing at the time I made the level. And originally you're supposed to guide teeth, some you can see, some you can't, onto trap buttons, and again, some you can see, some you can't. Well, pressing these trap buttons would mean a ball would go across 4 traps to a toggle button, and the toggle button would be your way out of the level once it's open. The problem is the trap buttons, you had no idea how they were ordered. You had to get the order right. And from a context like this, you have no way of knowing what the order is for those trap buttons, man. You had no way of knowing. You'd have to look in the editor, and I hate levels that make you look in the editor for that kind of stuff. And there's a good amount of levels in Joshie that are going to be like, oh, look at the editor to figure it out. And those levels I regret, but this is new enough or newer enough to warrant changing. So what I did was I made all the trap buttons clone buttons instead. So the clone buttons are one-time use, and they control or they connect to a ball clone machine, and it clones 4 balls. The first 3 blow up bombs, and the 4th one will finally reach the toggle button. Basically meaning the order does not matter. As long as you get the teeth to press the button, you are a winner. And there's one of our guys right down there. Okay, that got 2 presses. Are we home free? Yes, we are. Alright. That is that. So, you're able to solve it much quicker. As long as you know what tiles to stand on. Which even then you can't really tell from just playing the level, but just because I literally had to open an editor like 20 minutes ago. Yeah, I kind of knew where you had to stood. So yeah, I don't normally like making level changes strictly for my own benefit for this Let's Play I'm doing. And this was definitely one of those cases where I did make the change just for that. But I think it definitely needed it. I think it does help the level a tad bit more. It's still not the best level because Totally Unfair is, you know, those kinds of concepts are always going to be a mixed bag no matter how you design them. But that's besides the point. It's done, it's over with, and we can now move on to the block pushing segment of our video. Infra Watered. Get it? Because there's red at the end of watered, whatever. This level is a JCCLPRejects level. I forgot to add the Illuminati level to the count, but I will do that here after I either die or I solve this level. This is a rejects level because this was my first attempt at using the blocks of Jeffrey's What Lies Beneath, I think it's called. And I was just experimenting with what kind of block, what can I do with these blocks kind of thing. And I think I'm screwed because I cannot push any more blocks. Yeah, I cannot push any more. That is a tragedy. That is not how I expected to lose the level, but here we are. Alright, let's quickly add Josh L5, because Illuminati searching for him was Josh L5, and a death count. Wasn't really a death there, but you know, it still counts. Okay, so we gotta be mindful of how we push these blocks. It's been a while since I've actually solved this level. Okay, I got a good amount of blocks now. Freeing this one right here should help a lot. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, so I looked ahead in this decade, and there's a lot of block pushing levels coming up, which is probably good because I'd rather get them done and over with right away if I can. But I know even with what's coming up, there are still a good number of them left to go through in our big adventure here. Because this is what Joshie is. It's just one big adventure. Adventure across all sorts of different time periods. Alright. Yeah, that was a good path to take. Yeah, I forget what I end up making out of the blocks, because this was supposed to be for trading places. I think I made something else with the blocks of it, which is still not good, but I kind of just had to accept the fact that, you know, there's just not much you can really do with the blocks of a level. Unless I made the tiles something else, which I didn't really want to do. I feel like I did that a lot in trading places. Alright, there's 2 chips there. Okay, so the whole left half is explored pretty thoroughly. We can probably start venturing to the east. Let's go eastbound, because that is a CC2LP1 level. Alright, the exit's up there. So that would be good to bridge to. Let's get one more block. I'd love to free up this cluster if I may. Pretty please. Thank you. Alright, one more to go. And let's just get the path to the exit built. Honestly, now that I'm playing this again, there's some argument to be made that this was probably wrongfully rejected. I think this would have been fine in trading places. I think my standards were just way too high. And I thought, oh, heavy block pushing equals bad level. We can't have that. We can't allow that to happen. But I don't know. There wasn't really a whole lot in trading places, I don't believe. And even though I cooked myself the first attempt of this, there still is quite a bit of leniency behind this level. Look at that, I just freed up like four or five blocks. That's cool. Okay, the chip is down there. I can't get it from this side. I can from up here. I just need one more block, and that is not a problem. Okay, he had to get it from here because that side's completely blocked off. Alright, that concludes Infra Watered. Not bad at all. I kind of wish this was placed in trading places. Oh well. Let's see. We haven't had a trading places level in a good amount of time. So that's finally 10 for that entry. Alright, a small dose of arsenic. This is a Walls of CCLP3 level. This uses the wall template of mice are good for something, and I didn't even use the walls. I came up with this weird concept instead. Okay, I got that. Got that. So it's basically an avoidance puzzle, but it's not really a puzzle. There we go. So I got 18 chips left to get, and I'm going to go for the hint. So I just got to get a couple more. So this is the actual wall template of mice are good for something. I just replaced what was here. I replaced the pop-up walls with trapped monsters. I replaced the ice. I think it was ice. Or no, forest floors with random forest floors. I replaced the ice with water. And then I replaced the only teleport with a hint. The chips were good for something. And if you traveled up this corridor up here, you would see even the trap balls there. So yeah, pretty silly level. Didn't really know what to do with mice are good for something. I think what Jeffrey made out of the wall template was probably the best use of the wall pattern, just mirror the section. But I didn't want to take from that, so I didn't bother with it. I think what I made was cool. Just a random concept I came up with. Alright, that was Walls of CCLP3. Up to 18. Alright, block work. Let the block pushing begin. Once again. So a couple of things you might have noticed on the side there with the total. The total is now up to 1,325. It was at 1,324 for the longest time. That is because a new level has been added to the count, everybody. We will not get to it till the very, very, very end of the set, though. So, and this was a deliberate choice. But I will go ahead and say that the level is my portion of the credits in Walls of CC1. I decided to take that, my portion of the credits level, and just make it its own thing. I figured, you know, I don't really have a true signature level besides the Flareon level, which is also in this set, but that's the very last level. Surprise, surprise, right? That's why you see Walls of CC1 has 65 total levels instead of 64 like it had. Because while I did only make 64 full map levels, I do count that chunk of the credits level as one whole level. And if I could, within reason, I would include the other collab JB and I made, the final level of Walls of CC1 in this, but it just wouldn't be the same level. And I'm not going to take full credit for it. But if you want to see it early on, or you don't want to wait until the beginning of next year for me to reach it, which, let's be real, I don't even think that's going to happen. This Let's Play is going to last all year long. It'll probably roll over into next year even, at this rate. Because I started this, in August? And it's it's January, and I'm only on part, 19, I think we're on. If I wasn't lazy and just had more time available, I probably could have gotten to like part 40. Actually, no, that's not true. I definitely would have gotten to part 30. 40 would have been too much. Okay, and this section is a little different. You have to use the blocks to guide fireballs into the mess, which is kind of cool. Okay, I kind of want to prep that a little bit better. Let's do it that way. There we go. Okay, there's that one. This fireball is just a straight path down. Actually, let's take it one step further and do it this way, so I can get this guy in here. Let's have him take a long path, just so I have more than enough time to plan it. And that should be all of them covered. Oh yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Block work is complete. That was a pretty mediocre Joshie.dat 2 level. I think I like the fireball part a lot. Because there's no way you can cover all of them with all the blocks. You have to use the fireballs for at least some of them. And there was probably more leniency than what I did with it, but I think it's cool. All right, Josh L2, 19. And we're on to another Josh L2 block heavy level. Back to back. Pusher. Hardly newer. All right, let's get these teleport ones done and over with, because the first room will be so simple. Yep, this is all this level is. Nothing too extravagant. I'm sure. Let's get these chips. And if I remember right, you have exactly enough. I don't think you can waste any blocks in this. Alright, with that room done, we can now do this corner room. All right. You know, I had a notepad file open with a list of stuff to talk about. Where is that at? Oh, it's right here. Okay. So let's see, I talked about the lumberyard change. Okay, I need to do a count. I think that screws it. Okay, that's 6 blocks, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Okay. That's 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. I did push some in, so I have 18 chips left, so if it's 2 apiece, which I know it's not, because I already filled in some of this water, so I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30. Oh, I can't remember if there's any past the socket. Oh, I can't remember if there's any past the socket. I don't think I have any way of knowing. Well, let's keep going. Let's keep going. It's hard to tell. Let's just try not to waste any more. All it took was looking away for one split second. That's all it took. Very annoying, for sure. So I think we shall wait on that list of stuff. I have it like halfway off my screen, and I hate that. Like, I can see part of it, but I can't see all of it. I mean, it's a JCCL2 level, and I know for a fact I was lenient with blocks back then. Not on every single level, but I feel like I remember there being some leniency with this. Like, not every block was needed. By the way, can we just give this level a triple Z rating and just move on? Like, this has no reason to exist. And I'm really hoping I'm not wasting my time. Alright, well, that's all the teleport chips done. So now I can just... Now I can focus on just that one section. Which is a lot faster. Yeah, there's gotta be leniency. I'm a believer. I believe in my past self. Okay, yeah, I know this isn't the most engaging stuff to watch. Like, yeah, whoop-de-doo, we're back with Joshie. But I promise you, once we get past a lot of these block pushing levels, the quality, well, not the quality, but the levels that appear will be much more interesting to talk about. Like, there's not much to talk about with a level like this, man. I mean, it's just, other than I regret making it, you know. But I can say that all I want. The level still exists. Alright, the top section is completely done. Let's push some blocks down the teleport. Can't believe I pushed that on the edge, man. I'm gonna cry if that ended up being needed. I mean, my only hope is literally there's not much needed for past the socket. That's my only saving grace right now. Alright, one left. Alright, moment of truth. I need 3. Got 2. 3. Oh, thank God. Okay, I have enough. Oh, thank goodness, man. I have enough. I am so glad I trusted it. Let's just push you down to teleport. Wow. Wow. Okay, I am so relieved that I had enough. I still had 2 extras, so I could have pushed 2 more on the edge and I still would have been fine. But man, that had me on the edge of my seat. I was thinking, man, I should just restart. I should just restart this level and just accept I failed it. I'm so glad I stuck with it. I am so glad. Alright, well that is pusher completed. Another Joshie 2 level in the books. We're at 20 levels for that. Crazy. Now we're on to Interlink, which is another block heavy level, but it's not... It's actually much more interesting. It's a Walls of CC1 level. It was actually chosen as level 100 of that set. And it's more just a bunch of small little block challenges that you have to solve and then get the block out to extract it. I love this random forest section, and then doing this is fun. Okay, so the people that... So I have to say about this room, a lot of people have said that this room is, you know, not needed, and I know it's not. I think I intended on there being like some MS specific thing where you have to get rid of the blue keys but erase them in links. And you don't have to do any of that. You just have to go down that and you'll be fine. Oversight on my part for sure. Trying to remember how this works. Now, funnily enough, I was going for an MS and links difference in that room, but actually this room is where the real difference lies. That room is completely different in links and how it behaves. Okay, so I think you want to do this like so. I think you want to press it. Yeah, because you don't want it to clone too many times.
Bummer.
And that's a failure. I think I was screwed anyway because I cloned one too many tanks on the left edge right there. So honestly, I'm okay with that, with dying there. I wasn't too far into the level anyway. Alright, let's do some other sections first. You can do this room. This is just a simple extraction. So roam these streets to collect blocks onto the slide to obtain the chips. Be careful not to enter it yourself, though. So I made this level out of the walls of Skelzy. Which is a really strange wall pattern. clone you once. And then you're done there. 3, 1, 2. Okay, extract you there. Yeah, I didn't really know what to do with Skelzy for the longest time. Until I kind of realized I can just use the little edge rooms as, you know, little block challenges and stuff. And I think it worked out okay. Also, to kind of add on to the blue key room down there, I think we should start normalizing pointless sections or pointless things in level design. Okay, I think this is accessible. Yep, that's one chip done. I think adding pointless things to your levels is pretty cool. Okay, this paramecium part is really strange. I forget how it works. I should have done it first because I came this way first. I think you just want it to destroy the bomb. Because there's a lot of misdirection in thinking you have to have it press this trap button, which connects to the trap to the upper left of it. Which is not what you're supposed to do. You're just supposed to let this guy blow up. Because you can just use the block to hold the button down. And you can come up here. And this section's kind of cool, but you have to be a little mindful on the order of the pop-up walls. I think as long as you use this one first, I think you're fine. Yeah. Okay, so now you extract the blocks like this. And there we go. So I think all that's left is this corner right here. I kind of want to do this blob and bug room. Very heavily inspired by the various blob plus other monster concept I did a lot in Walls of CCLP3. That blob is really taking a liking to that little corner there. Not no more, buddy. Right, now for this room, which is pretty simple. I think the rest of this level is pretty simple. Okay, so you want the guy to blow up that middle bomb. This room was busted upon release of Walls of CC1, and I'm not a big fan of how I had to change it, but that was the only way I could enforce it, which is, no, it is what it is. The stray gravel tile just looks so awkward. Alright, with that should be all the bottom buttons covered. And that is the level. And you get a quick little tour of the middle, and then you're done. That is Intralink. So I named that level after a place in Pokemon Black and White. It was supposed to be part of this big thing they were trying to push with the game, where it was like a dream world type of place. You only went there through the dream world and stuff. It was weird. 2011 through 2013 was such a weird time period with like dream world stuff. But I like the name. It kind of felt appropriate for what this level was trying to do. You kind of have to link everything together, kind of. I don't know. Cold Hard Chip. That is a blatant title knockoff to Cold Hard Crash in Crash 2. Do not collect more than 3 keys in the room above. Okay, simple enough. So this is a Walls of level, but not for a Walls of project. This was made for JCCL7. And I originally used the key issue because it was once again, whoa. It was one of those cases where I wasn't aware Jeffrey was making a Walls of CCL before. Whoa. Let's save you, guy. I guess we'll go down the slide. That's okay. We have unlimited blocks. We just gotta go through the tank finagling again. Okay, you can push it all the way. Yep. Okay, go through this corridor and get chased. Alright, what am I missing? Oh yes, we can go in this room, which inspired JB to make a whole level based on this idea in his Walls of CCLP1 set. Pretty cool. It's always nice when when you're told your levels inspired them to make something. I feel like I don't get that enough, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Maybe I get it more than enough. Regardless, I'm happy when I'm told that people when my levels inspire other designers. Okay, so originally in JCCL7, you only had to go through this bottom left corner. If you went through, or bottom right corner, if you went through the top left corner, you'd be cooked. But I distinctly remember fixing that to where you can do it in either direction now, which once again should have been part of the level in the first place, but it sadly just wasn't. Yep. Nice healthy change, I think. Yeah, they're in the nick of time. And we are done with Cold Hard Chip. Cool. It was a pretty basic level, nothing too spectacular, but I liked making it. It was fun. All right, let's add some levels to the count. What are we missing here? We just did JCCL7, so that finally gets 10. What was before that? Intralink, that's right. You also get 10. Cool. And then I counted Pusher, yes. Okay. Cool beans. Does anyone even say that anymore? Alright, fake wall biome. Walls of CCLP3 level. I guess speaking of inspirations, this level was inspired by one of Jacques' levels, of all people. It's called Fake Wall Scramble, I believe. Something like that. All blue walls are fake. Yeah, because you already kind of know that by the title. Alright. So... this section's a little strange. But that's what you have to do. And then... that. Okay. So I made this level out of the walls of Vulcan, and it was actually kind of funny because Vulcan I originally made something else out of, but then I kind of did like a wall pattern swap, if you will. I kind of want to get the tooth monster, if I'm being completely honest, but that requires me... well, yeah, I can do that. That requires me to open up the bug. Or the blob.
Bummer.
You know, pfft. Or just do something stupid like that. Okay, let's do this section first. Alright, how about we do the bug first? That makes it a lot easier. Okay, so let's get this guy to follow me. Alright, so the rest of you guys can just go there. And that should work out just the same. I think we need... there we go. The walker is a little annoying, but thankfully he mostly cooperated. And then we just wait for the bug. And that is that section done. Alright. And of course you don't need this blob. This blob's just here mainly as a joke. But you don't need it. I would never require something like that to be... says the guy who made Desert Bloom, who made blobs required to blow up bombs. Alright, this section is also tragically easy. But it kind of had to be, because you have to free up space to cover up these buttons as well. I always like how when people see this section and they go, oh man, how am I going to solve this and have a path for the fireball at the same time? And then they realize, oh, I can just have a single path to the fireball with the fireball. Because, I mean, really, as long as you only keep, like, a path going this way and then this path going upward, it's pretty trivial. I'm also noticing that the sun, despite having blackout curtains, the sun is still shining through them and landing on my face. So if the lighting on my face looks weird, that's why. It's that time of day where the sun is in my face, sitting here. But thankfully we're almost done with the decade. Block pushing takes a lot out of you. Alright. Did I get that chip at the bottom corner? I did. Okay, so this section's a little harrowing because you don't know what monster you need, but you can kind of deduce it's a glider if you just look at the way the traps are laid out. So you just have to be mindful of that. Again, this room is pretty simple. Let's actually approach it from up here instead. This one's just a simple paramecia. And this should be all the chips. Yep. Just up here. And fake wall biome is done. Good stuff. Walls of CCLP3 once again gets another entry on the list. And we are on the color of a stop sign. You only get these three red keys to stop the tanks from flickering. Use the block to your advantage. Alright, so we have a Joshie 3 level. We have a bit of an oldie here. And the premise of it is to figure out what keys you need to unlock to get the monsters out. You also have a block you can use, so you don't need to unlock like the bug or the paramecium. You can just ferry them away. Like so. And this glider can get blown up somewhere. That fireball actually took care of that paramecia, which is pretty cool. And I think you just want... That works. It bounced off the ball. Wow, we got monsters bouncing off each other. And we gotta get that blob out, so we definitely have to open up something here. I think that's the most logical sense. Unfortunately, I can't trap the blob in there with the ball. There we go. Okay. Pretty cool little level. Not a new concept to any of us, but it's a pretty cool how it was made, I suppose. Pretty cool collisions that happened there too, I gotta say. Alright, back to square one, the last level of today's video, everybody. And we have a Joshie.1 level, a really true oldie, with a staggering 370 something chips. And you can tell it's Joshie.1 because it's got a long, pointless ice slide. And a lot of toggle wall flickering. And a very unnecessary item swapper section too. Look at that. And we have accessed the vault for all these chips. And look who's guarding him, our good old buddy, the walkers. Our good friends. Alright, let's try to leave a path of chips to the exit, if I can. Alright, we should be okay. Unless there's more walkers to free, which I think there is. Okay. And we got a bit of ball dodging, but nothing too unreasonable. And just gotta go back through this walker room, nice and open. Not colliding. Cool. Alright, looks like we got this one shot. Yeah, pretty strange level. I guess the whole point of the name is you have to go back to the start. But that is back to square one completed. Pretty simple level overall. I don't really care for the walkers at the end there, but at least they cooperated. They didn't kill me, so I take that as a win. And so with that, let's add one more to Joshie.1 for 19 out of 118. So those are totals updated for today's episode. Almost all full or double digits for every one of them except other, which this level coming up, Panzerbahn, will be added to next time. This level was was another one of those 9x9 levels that I made for a failed project VT and I made, or we're going to make, with a full set of 9x9 levels. I still think it's possible, especially in like CC2. Well, not 9x9, but 10x10 at least, because there's lots more elements you can cram in together and stuff, and compared to CC1. But that's not the point. Yeah, pretty honestly, these levels were pretty boring to play. I mean, I think all the ones we played, I think the one I liked the most out of all of them was probably Fake Wall Biome was fun. Infra Watered, I had a pleasant surprise playing again. And Cold Hard Chip, Interlink was okay. But the block pushing levels definitely dragged on, especially Pusher. I think finding out I got away with solving Pusher even after failing or losing a block was very refreshing for me. I'm really happy that worked out, because I would have been so upset if I needed every block in there. I'm glad I was lenient with blocks back in my Joshie.dat design days. I'm really glad I did. But that will be it for me, everybody. Thank you all for watching or listening in. If you did, I really do appreciate it. I don't say it enough. I'm going to make a better habit of saying it, because I know expecting people to, or throwing out hour-long videos all the time, I'm asking for an hour of your time, basically. And I do appreciate the view. I do appreciate you clicking and just having it on in the background even, or just whatever. I really do appreciate it. So please keep that in mind. And I will see you all in the next video. Hopefully it won't take another 2 weeks. Things have settled down, and there should be no reason not to record, except if I'm just tired. But I'll try my best, and you try your best as well. So thank you for watching, and see you next time.